Hi, I'm Joe Chili. Mornings from 7 to 9 on Buffalo's oldie station, The Big Wack. Joining us on The Big Wack's Buffalo on the Rise today is Timothy Hiller, who's a partner with Hiller Comerford Attorneys. Injury and disability law is what it basically is, right?
Yes, thank you for having me.
I'm glad to have you on today. And, you know, I think you've got an important anniversary coming up. We want to make sure that we, maybe not personally, but an important anniversary from a business sense, right?
Yeah, that's right. So about 1 year ago, on June 1st, 2024, my partner Ida Comerford and I launched a new brand. You know, for over 20 years, we had been known as a law office of Kenneth Hiller. Partner and I bought that firm in 2021, and we decided to launch out on a new brand, Hiller Comerford. And the reason for that, Joe, was, you know, we didn't just want to be caretakers of the excellent brand that my father, Kenneth Hiller, built over all those years. We wanted to expand on his vision and you know, really build on his work to the point where, you know, we can be known not just for Social Security disability and helping people navigate that process, but also dealing with their personal injury claims.
So you were kind of differentiating a little bit from the firm you were with before. How difficult is it when you make a decision to partner up with somebody? You know, it seems almost like a marriage, you know what I mean, when you're working with an individual like that. Is it a difficult thing to do? Do you have to kind of make a determination what your specialties are, or did you already know?
You know, it is a relationship on that level. You know, Joe, that is actually a very good comparison. You know, we have over 160 employees right now, and so, you know, the two of us, you know, are responsible for, you know, determining what to do around the office, you know, with 160 plus employees. And so, you know, you have to have a really solid relationship, and you have to know what your strengths are and what your partner's strengths are. You know, for instance, I tend not to be the best at, you know, managing people, and my partner Ida is just, you know, she's a whiz with that. And so that's just one example. But, you know, yeah, you figure out what she's good at, what I'm good at, and you have to make the best of it.
You talked about your father's firm and what he specialized in. Tell me about the areas that you really focus on now with Hiller Comerford.
Yeah, so we have three main focuses. The first focus is car crash. The second focus is our legacy focus, Social Security disability, and our third focus is veterans disability. And, you know, although these are three different areas of law, you know, we really see it as one focus, and that is, you know, we want to help injured or disabled people, you know, people who have been in a car accident, people who, you know, maybe they have an illness and can't work. We want to help them regain control over their lives.
How difficult is it to, you know, to put the client first? Like, for instance, you know, you hear all these stories about people getting in a car accident. All of a sudden, insurance companies are on the phone with them. And, you know, what am I supposed to do? So, you know, should they really call you and talk to an attorney first before something like that happens?
Yes, of course. And of course, I'm going to say that, but it's true. You know, the insurance company is not your friend. Okay, they may sound like your friend, but that's because they've been trained in empathy. They've been trained to basically get you to harm your own claim. And so the most frustrating thing that I see is when someone comes to me, serious injuries, you know, a pretty solid case overall, but the insurance adjuster tricked them into saying something that, you know, may harm their case on the phone. So, you know, the number one thing we recommend is never have a recorded conversation with an insurance company, at least not before you come talk to us.
And for me, it's always nervous when I go in to talk to an attorney, because I just feel you guys have gotten so much education. You know what I mean? You go through all that, and I just feel like such a novice when I'm in there. You know, but you have a policy, a core value of clients first, right? So how do you deal with something like that when you meet with a client?
So the first thing we want to do is we want to get to know you. If you're one of our personal injury clients, we're going to want to bring you into our office and meet with me and my trial attorney, Charles Cobb, and we like to sit down and have a conversation and get to know you as a person. We want to figure out, you know, we're not just going to sit down and talk to you about, you know, complicated areas of law. You know, that's why you hired us, so you don't have to think about that kind of stuff. What we want to know is, you know, what kind of treatment are you getting? How can we help you get your treatment? How can we help you, you know, take care of your no fault application, make sure your property damage claim is being handled correctly, and make sure that you're comfortable with your recovery plan medically. We can get you in to see chiropractors, we can get you in to see doctors that we personally vetted, that we know are good. And so we're really just there to guide you from this vulnerable position, where you're a car crash victim, where you're injured and unable to work, into this position where you're empowered, compensated, and recovered as good as you can from a medical standpoint.
We have about a minute and a half left. What do you think is there one big mistake that clients make?
Yeah, and this would kind of extend across all three areas of law. I already mentioned, thinking you can go it alone. So
Right.
I won't belabor that point. That's clearly a big mistake. But another big mistake we see with any kind of claim, like a car accident claim, VA disability, Social Security disability, is not being consistent with your treatment. Any kind of a delay in seeking treatment or gaps in treatment, insurance companies or the government are going to use that against you. They're going to say, if you were really injured, you wouldn't have had that treatment, or you wouldn't have had that gap in treatment. They don't understand, that life gets in the way, that, you may not have transportation. And so we work with you to minimize gaps in treatment, and we try to get you in to see our preferred providers right away.
Oh, you're making me feel more comfortable. Timothy Hiller, who is a partner with Hiller Comerford Injury and Disability Law. For more information and answers to your questions, contact Hiller Comerford by calling 1-866-HILLER-LAW or go to hillercomerford.com. Sponsorship and promotional consideration for the preceding segment was provided by Hiller Comerford, and you can join me weekday mornings 7 to 9 a.m. on The Big Weck.